Hi folks, welcome back. It has been a minute since I've talked about books on this channel, but let's change that, shall we? Instead of focusing on how long it's been, I'm going to focus on the fact that I'm here now. In the time that I've quit booktube, took a break from booktube, I have not read books at all. Like, I have not sat and finished a book. And so I was thinking of like, how can I get back to making this a hobby that I enjoy? And really what has inspired me and what has sparked joy is going back to basics as to like why I wanted to start this channel in the first place. And that was reading Stephen King. I love doing Stephen King Sundays. I haven't gone back and watched them. If I'm being completely transparent, I don't like watching my old videos. I have videos of me from like 19 to 34. I am keeping them up because I do eventually want to go back and watch them. I want to fall in love with reading again, and one of the reasons why I started this channel was to read Stephen King in order and to rate them and do the Stephen King Sundays, but they unfortunately kind of got away from me. I liked it when I did it, but I ended up reading ahead too many books instead of really taking my time with it and making each video about it, or like making vlogs of me reading it or anything like that. I think I'm going to do things a little bit differently this time, which is do it slowly and really allow myself to get fully inspired by work, by a book, by each individual piece of media as I'm experiencing it and as I'm getting inspired by it, because I like dabbling my little hands in various crafts and letting one piece of media inspire me across all of my crafts. So that may be sharing book reviews with you guys, like crocheting things inspired by, I don't know, Carrie, The Shining, whatever it may be. I'm gonna let myself hyper-focus on it and see where it takes me. But I do want to more accurately rate the books that I'm reading. Just as I'm a little bit older, I have a different perspective on things. I've done a lot of like inner growth, inner healing in the last couple of years. And so I'm ready to reread things with my current state, right? And that's the kind of the beauty of rereading books, is enjoying them in a different way, enjoying them in a different mindset than you ever have before. And so I have found a lot of joy in rereading things throughout the years. So I think that I'm just due for a reread. Doing Stephen King Sundays on this channel and reading King was one of the things that got me going to make this channel and to want to share. And so why not use that as a spark to get back into reading? That being said, we're starting with Carrie, obviously. Next couple of videos are going to be Carrie focused, and then I'm going to slowly move on into the other works. When I first started reading King for Stephen King Sundays, I think I ended up getting about 28 books in. I know all of them didn't have videos because I read ahead, but I ended up getting, I think, I want to say The Talisman or Needful Things. I know I skipped ahead for Needful Things. Spoiler alert, it's one of my favorite Stephen Kings I've ever read. But yeah, I ended up reading, I want to say 28 books in a row. Not in a row, but in the publication order, you know what I mean, before I stopped. So that's pretty good. So I do definitely have a solid chunk to reread before we get into new stuff. So I want to invite you guys to join along with me. Obviously, Carrie is first. I'm going to spend probably a good solid 2 weeks just kind of letting myself love that book. But I do want to introduce a more accurate rating system. I think I tried to do this in the past. I genuinely don't remember what I have and haven't done on this channel because I refuse to go back and watch my old videos. Maybe I should. But I'm going to do a rating system that sort of gives me a scoring out of 100, and that's really going to let me break it down by the time I read like a bunch of his books to see sort of how I rank them all, because that's just fun and I like statistics. I'm not the most organized with statistics, but we're trying to be. I have 10 overall rating systems things that I'm rating by. So let me go through them for you. Number 1 is overall concept. What is the uniqueness, like the overall concept out of 10? Do I like what it is? Is it just a girl with telekinesis? Is it a girl who can start fire with her eyes? Like, what is the overall concept, and is it a new thing? Is it something new that I haven't read before? Is it fun? That's kind of what I'm rating that out of. Second thing is plot. Is there Is the plot easy to follow? Is there a good arc? Is there like a beginning, a build up, a climax, an ending? Are there any plot holes, unanswered questions? That will sort of fall into my rating as well. Third thing is characters. Are they fleshed out? Is there a growth? Is there like a downfall? Are they well written? Can I visualize it? Because I'm a very visual reader. Like, I need to be able to see the movie in my head and like how the characters operate. So are the characters well written? Number 4 is complexity of the book itself, and different from plot, but complexity is there anything that made me feel stupid? And I challenged by it. Like, is there something that I have to go Google? Is there a meaning here that I feel like I'm getting a little bit of, but I don't understand the full complexity? So that's kind of not a bad thing to rate on, but just like, how do I rate the complexity of the book? Number 5 is thought-provokingness. Did it make me think after? Is there anything in this that made me think about it for a long time after? Not in a, oh, that is how I can summarize the book, but like, oh man, that idea in that book was really good, or what they talked about here was really interesting that I can carry on. A book that really does that for me in the last couple years has been Tender is the Flesh. Tender, you know what I'm talking about. That book I've brought up in so many conversations. I've thought, like, it's just popped into my head randomly and it's just given me like the kind of heebies. And so that's kind of what I mean by thought-provoking. Like, is it just a book, or is it something that I'm going to end up talking about for a while? Number 6 is overall writing. Just, is there good quotes in there? I like a good quote that kind of gets me. I wrote in there anything that caught me by surprise, like in the goodness of the writing. Obviously that's subjective to me, but I'll try to explain it as I go. Like, this is what I consider good writing. Number 7 is entertainment value. Overall entertainment value throughout the whole book. Was I bored? Was it fun? Was it a fast read? Even if it was a slow burn, did I enjoy the entire process of reading it? Was it entertaining? Especially when we're talking about more horror Stephen King or psychological Stephen King, because not all of it really is horror, but or fantasy even. Was I entertained along the genre or the supposed genre that it's meant to be? So number 8 is modern day importance or cultural relevance. That's a big one, and that's kind of, I feel like, could be where a lot of the inspiration for me comes from. Is what are people talking about the movie now? Book. Are there movies? What are people saying about the book now? What is the cultural relevance? Are there other things inspired by it? What is the modern day importance of this piece of work? As we get into sort of the newer books, it's what is the importance in the entire frame of all the things that Stephen King has written? What is the cultural significance? So that's an interesting one. I think it's going to be fun. Number 9 is rereadability. Do I want to experience this again? I know that there's a couple on this list of the 28 that I have already read. Do I want to experience this again? Probably not. Am I going to for these videos? Yes, I am. So I can kind of rate my desire to reread some of them again, or kind of rate on, was it enjoyable as a reread currently? Because that's kind of a fun thing to throw in, is just like, is it a one and done? Is it going to be as good on a second read, third read, whatnot? We'll see. And then lastly, number 10 is, am I inspired creatively by this book? Some things, you read, you absorb, and you kind of forget. And then other things, I can be sort of, let it wash over me and go, oh, I'm inspired to crochet something. I'm inspired to do my makeup a certain way for a week. I'm inspired to make outfits for a week. I want to go watch all the movies. I want to, then get inspired by the movies. Like, it's really kind of just, I say inspiration, like, am I inspired by this work, and what in it inspires me? And that's something that I'm really excited to share with all of you, is what in it inspires me. Just a couple things aside from that 10 items in there. Overall, that'll give me a rating out of 10. So, you rate each one of those out of 10, out of 100, a percentage, clean, nice. easy breezy. So the other things I want to mention as I'm reading King is the fashion. And I know that that sounds so bizarre, but I'm really inspired by fashion. I'm really inspired by descriptions of characters and what they're wearing, and like the scenery and how I can picture stuff, especially in the work that has TV and movie adaptations, which is a lot of them, which I'll mention. I don't know if I'll read or I don't know if I'll watch all of them, because there's a lot, but I will definitely mention any that do pop up as inspiration. But I am going to be pulling a lot of references to what the characters look like and seeing if I can dig out my massive my massive maximalist closet and seeing if I can get inspired by any of the fashion that he writes in there, which is interesting because he's writing it from like at the time, like a middle-aged man into an older man. So kind of curious to see kind of like how where the references pop up. But that's a fun thing that just I'm gonna look out for, is how the characters are described. And then another thing that Stephen King loves to do in books is he loves to bird watch. He's definitely a bird man, if you catch my drift. Elaborately describes several bird species. So he talks a lot about the blue-footed boobies and the red-breasted tits and, you know, that kind of thing. So I figured as a funny kind of joke, maybe we'll put in as like a counter in the corner the Stephen King birdwatch of how many times he mentions blue-footed boobies and tits of the bird species. I figured maybe we'd do a counter there, because that's kind of funny too, because he does mention it a lot, like a lot. He bird watches a lot, especially I especially feel like he bird watched a lot when he was skiing the slopes. He's an avid skier for a period of time, and so when he was skiing he was definitely bird watching a lot. So that is what I'm doing. I am going to do the great Stephen King reread and take you along with me. There will be vlogs. There will be craft along, read alongs. A lot of these I'm going to listen to in audio while also crafting. So I hope you are prepared to kind of join along with me. By the time this video has gone up, I have definitely already read Carrie. So I would highly suggest you pick it up. It's a short one. And then if you want to read ahead, check out the publication date. It goes Carrie, then Salem's Lot, then The Shining. Am I right with that? I need to find that out. But yeah, so hopefully y'all like it and y'all join along and you're excited to see me back. And then I'm thinking maybe after I read the book and I rate it and I give you my spoiler-filled, by the way, this isn't spoiler-filled, but when I review the book, spoiler-filled review, because that's more fun for me. I might go back and watch my original Stephen King Sunday and see if my opinion has changed at all, because that would be fun. So let me know if you'll like that in the comments below. Let me know if you're down. Say hi. I haven't talked to y'all in a while. And yeah, hopefully everyone is doing good. And yeah, until my next one, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.